Matchup is Coach Matt Rhule from Temple. The Owls are 8-1 overall, 5-0 in the American Athletic Conference. Temple was in action this past Friday at SMU. Temple won the game 60-40. Up next for the Owls will be this Saturday at USF, as we said, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the win at SMU, please, and tell us what you expect to see as you return to the road Saturday to face USF.
Well, just first, I'd like to give a lot of credit to SMU. I thought they had a great plan. They got behind early, and their kids fought back as competitive, well-coached kids do. And Coach Morris is truly building something special there, and it was a great game atmosphere. And obviously, the final score was not indicative of the game. And I thought they played a great game. As we move forward versus USF, we want to just try to build on what we did offensively last week. I thought we were able to throw the ball. I got a couple of different kids ran the football. It's great to have Jagger Gardner emerge. And, I thought Brandon McGowan did a really nice job in Kyle Friend's place. Defensively, played really well most of the game. Had some great stops at the end, a couple big plays. And then once again, penalties. Obviously we're doing something wrong to be getting this many penalties, and we have to get it corrected. So as we get ready to play an extremely talented, well-coached USF team, we have to just focus on ourselves, try to eliminate the penalties and big plays, and get back to playing Temple defense and Temple special teams and keep trying to build on the offense.
Take questions for Coach Rhule, please. Star 1 on your telephone to join the queue, and the operator will introduce you.
We have our first question from John DeCarlo from owlscoop.com.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
John, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing just coming out of, I know you were banged up heading into the game. How are you guys doing health-wise coming out of the game, coming out of the SMU game and heading into Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're probably healthier than we were going into last week. I thought it was just a great effort by some young guys to step in and play. And I don't know how well people realize, like guys like Jagger Gardner and McGowan going in there and playing at a high level, and how much that enabled us, to get through the week and try to get some guys back this week and healthy. So I think we're as healthy right now as you could probably be this time of year.
One last question. It looked like before you guys got things going, it looked like there were some issues up front with the offensive line, a lot of guys getting through. How much of that was just technique, and how much of that was missing Kyle there in the center? What was kind of the cause of that before you guys kind of got that shored up and won the game?
Well, I thought I'll just say this. I thought we were really good. Obviously, I mean, I think they had the longest run in school history early. I think it was just a stretch there, about 3 and outs, where really everything was just a mess. And they were, just goes back to UMass, and really when people blitz us like that, either we're feast or famine. And I don't want to put it on any one guy. Just really a lot of just miscommunications, and if we want to take another step, our offensive line has to handle all that stuff. They have to communicate, and that did not happen at a high enough level, and that's why you saw those 3 and outs that really kind of, up 14-0, then 14-3. We couldn't get it going again, and then once we did, and we were able to score.
Gotcha. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Sure.
We have a question from Joey Knight for Tampa Bay Times.
Matt, you and Willie are in a very similar situation. You took programs really struggling, and you went through some tough times. I wanted to ask you, what's the key to keeping your guys on point during the tough times, keeping them tuning into your message, keeping them unified?
Well, I think Willie's done it twice. I mean, he's one of my great friends in coaching. I really enjoy him on a personal level, and this is my first time I have a chance to coach against him. But I think for us it was just a matter of trying to focus on just the very next thing, what was right in front of us, and the next game. And we played a lot of young guys, and sometimes when you play young guys, they know that they have a future, so they have some hope. So I just think it was focusing on the next thing and building relationships, and that's the same thing we're trying to do now, and just focusing on what's next, which is obviously a great game. So, but I think when you're going through those hard times, if you start thinking about what just happened or the future, you get really down. So you're just trying to look 6 inches in front of your face.
Thank you, Matt.
We have a question from Sean Pastor from Owls Daily.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good, Sean. How you doing, buddy?
Great. So I wonder, this is going to be third week in a row you're up against a quarterback who can beat you with his feet. in addition to throwing the ball. Are there things, and you've given up some plays the last couple of weeks to the quarterback, are there things that have to be cleaned up there, or is it just the fact that, there's going to be some plays that happen when you got a dual threat quarterback like that?
Yeah, we have to tackle. I know that sounds so rudimentary, but the play at Notre Dame, I mean, guy didn't do his job, okay, that happens, but we still were running on block and we don't get him down. He just outruns us. And then this past week, they really had two quarterback runs. They had the long one down, that Matt made a great run on and made two or three. I mean, we were there unblocked and just made us miss. And then the one for the touchdown, and really, I mean, we held them to under 400 yards of offense, so it felt so much worse than it really was when you go back and watch it. But yeah, you're exactly right. That, they can, running quarterbacks have hurt us, and Quentin Flowers is as good as any of them. Running the football and he can throw it as well. So, I think the biggest key for us is we've had people in position. They've got to go make the play. And, if you don't make the play against Quentin, he can go score.
Okay. The second question, I just wanted to ask the status of Freddie Booth Lloyd and Kip Patton for this week's game.
Yeah, they'll play. They're good. They're both good.
Okay, thanks.
And we have a question from Donald Hunt from the Philadelphia Tribune.
Yes, Matt, how you doing?
Hey, Donald, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Listen, can I have you talk about Jihad? Because he's 30 yards away from 1,000, and I know that, he was a little injured over the last game against SMU, but he did come in and give you guys a lift. And because he's going to be in, some really good company in regards to Temple football.
Yeah, I think it'll be a heck of an accomplishment. And, with a couple of games left, I expect him to, eclipse that, and then, put a bunch more hopefully on the board over the next couple of weeks. But, Jihad's played really well. He's extremely elusive. And, he's played through, kind of being banged up, came in and finished the game last game. So he's going up against a great USF defense. And, we need all of our playmakers to have a chance. They've got a ton of defensive playmakers, and Jihad's obviously probably been our number one playmaker so far this year.
Yeah, and he's done pretty well considering. Let me see, Matt. He was a defensive back when he came to play for you guys, right?
Yeah, yep. He was a defensive back as a freshman, and just because he's just been one of those kids who he can kind of do anything you ask, and he's a team guy. He'll do whatever you ask, and so but he's always found a way to get on the field, whether it was as a kick returner or as a tailback. And I think everybody's seeing now, how potent he can be, and our hope is that those young guys keep coming through and making some plays so that we can give them a blow and keep them at at peak performance.
Okay, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And we have a question from Joey Johnson from the Tampa Tribune.
Yeah, Matt, there's obviously a lot at stake for both USF and Temple in this game, division, championships, bowl situations, etc. As you sell your kids on the message for this week and their preparation, do you get specific with such things, or do you prefer them not to speak or to think in those terms of kind of what's on the...
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they know. Every week we show them, say, hey, this is where we're at. So they know it. They know what's here this week. But our focus is, I hope is completely on ourselves. I mean, we have to play as well as we can play. And unfortunately for us, when we start thinking about what bowl we're going to, or are we going to win a conference championship, we have a tendency to not play quite as well. When we just completely focus on practice and preparation and playing, and defenses and offenses, we're going to see we play a lot better. So, I addressed it, and then quickly said, hey, let's focus on playing as well as we can versus an extremely well coached, talented USF team.
Thank you.
Sure.
And we have a question from Henry Callie from CBS Sports.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Congratulations on a big win.
Thank you so much.
I've watched PJ a long time, and I saw some things I have never seen him do. Could you talk a little bit about how he picked his game up for that game and what he is doing to continue to grow as he is?
Yeah, I think the last three games, PJ's really been special. That fourth quarter of ECU, I thought he, kind of put the team on his back, and I thought against Notre Dame he was, outstanding. I know that, the numbers weren't as good as, when you just look at the numbers, but there's a lot of drops, and he was sort of under duress. And then I thought this past game, I mean, he ran the ball, he completed the deep ball, he's protected the ball well, he took hits. The protection wasn't always great. He got through his progressions. So I think what we're seeing is just him maturing into a big-time quarterback, and not just one-dimensional guy or two-dimensional guy, but really a three-dimensional guy who could beat you with his arm, with his feet, and with his head. So I'm really proud of his progress.
Very good, and good luck down in Tampa. Hope the weather is nice for you.
Thank you so much.
And we have a question from Mark Narducci from Philadelphia Inquirer.
Matt, I'm sorry if this has been asked. I literally just landed from an airplane. I'm just trying to get the injury situation. If any players are definitely out for this week.
No, we expect to have everybody this week.
Including Kyle Friend as well?
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're exactly right. No, except for Kyle. Yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody that was, Kyle's out for a long time, but everybody else, that was, banged up, expect to have.
Thank you.
Sure.
And we have a question from Christopher Heidel from Herb FM Radio. Please check your mute function.
Well, do you have any other questions for Coach Rhule then? Star 1 on your telephone, if so, please. Coach, thank you for your time today. We look forward to hearing from you again next Monday.